never thought the day would come when my own sister's hand would crack across my face so hard that the entire Los Angeles terminal fell into absolute silence. 1 second, I was checking our boarding time. The next, her palm collided with my cheek, loud enough to freeze 200 travelers mid-step. Phones lifted, mouths fell open, eyes locked on me like I had somehow caused the chaos. Before I could breathe, my parents rushed in. Not to ask if I was okay, but to blame me again. They didn't know I was the one who paid for the entire Hawaii trip. They didn't know that in 5 minutes, I would make a decision that would leave them stranded and leave every passenger around us speechless. My name is Rose Morrison, and my entire life people have called me the responsible one. The steady daughter, the calm older sister, the girl who never argues, never complains, never chooses herself. Being the dependable daughter sounds noble, until you realize it's a cage, a quiet trap, a role everyone expects you to play forever. Jessica, my younger sister, was always the spark. Loud, dramatic, emotional in a way my parents adored. And me? I was the fixer, the quiet shadow behind her messes. If she cried, I comforted her. If she failed, I covered for her. If something needed doing, my parents didn't even glance her way. They turned to me, and I told myself it was love. I told myself it was family. But 28 years of carrying a family on your back? Eventually, the weight leaves cracks. When the Hawaii trip came up, paying for it wasn't even a question. It felt routine, expected, normal. I booked the flights, the rooms, the excursions, premium seats for Dad's back, separate room for Jessica's need for space. I told myself it didn't matter if they never knew. But something in me tightened every time. Jessica accepted praise for something she didn't do. Every time my parents brushed off my sacrifices. Every time Jessica joked that I was too serious. While she lived a life free of consequences, I cleaned up. Still, I hoped the trip would heal something. But that hope cracked the moment her hand hit my face. The slap echoed through Terminal 4 like a dropped metal tray. My cheek burned, but humiliation burned deeper. Before I could even speak, my parents rushed toward Jessica, their precious spark, not even glancing at me. "What did you do to her, Rose?" My dad's voice cut like a blade he'd sharpened for years. Jessica leaned into Mom, sobbing on cue. "She's been ruining the trip all week. I can't handle it anymore." The lie slid out perfectly, like she'd rehearsed it, and my parents believed her instantly, just like they always did. "Why can't you let your sister enjoy herself?" Mom snapped. It was the same script they'd handed me as a child. Jessica plays the victim, my parents' defender, and I stand there, the villain they invented. "Apologize," Dad demanded. "Do it properly." My cheek throbbed, but something inside me throbbed harder. A quiet thread snapping after decades of being pulled too tight. "I need a minute," I whispered. They waved me off like a nuisance. I walked away slowly, shaking, the sting radiating down my jaw. I reached a quiet corner near the vending machines and leaned against the cold tile. Then, clarity came. Sharp, steady, unavoidable. Every flight, every hotel room, every reservation was under my name, paid with my card. A boundary, small but seismic, formed in my mind. I opened the airline app. 4 passengers. 1 payer, me. I pressed call. The agent answered with calm professionalism. "How may I assist you?" My voice didn't shake when I said, "I'd like to cancel 3 of the tickets." Silence on the line. 3 tickets? Yes. Keep only the one under Rose Morrison. Click, click, click. And just like that, the power shifted. I changed the hotel next. 2 rooms to 1. Canceled the rental upgrade. Refused the excursions. Every confirmation email felt like removing a chain I'd worn for years. By the time I walked back to the gate, something in me had changed. Something unshakable. "My gate is elsewhere," I told them. Mom blinked. "What? This is your gate." "Not anymore." Jessica scoffed. "What are you talking about now?" I held up my phone. "I canceled your tickets." The silence was immediate. Sharp, stunning, electric. Dad sprang up. "You did what?" Jessica snatched the phone, scrolling with increasing panic. No, this can't be real. Why would you ruined this? I didn't ruin anything, I said. I paid for everything, and I canceled it. That's all. Agent confirmation came. Their names were gone. Mom started crying. Jessica begged. Dad threatened, but none of it mattered. For once, none of it touched me. You believed every lie she ever told, I said softly. You never even looked at my face after she hit me. You always chose her, so today I choose myself. The boarding announcement chimed. Group A, Honolulu. My group. Dad stepped in front of me. If you walk through that gate, don't come back. I met his eyes. Calm, steady. I'm not the one who left, I whispered. You all left me a long time ago. I walked past him, onto the jet bridge, into the warm light of my own freedom. The rest of Hawaii unfolded like a life I'd forgotten I deserved. Quiet mornings on the balcony, solo adventures, a peace that felt like oxygen. I let their calls go unanswered. Every message, every apology, every attempt to rewrite what they'd done. On the flight home, I finally opened their letter. They admitted everything. The favoritism, the excuses, the blindness. Maybe one day I'll respond. Maybe not. Because peace doesn't come from silence. It comes from finally choosing yourself. If this story feels familiar, you're not alone. Tell me where you're watching from. And if you want more true family stories like this, hit subscribe so you never miss the next one. I thought leaving them behind at LAX would be the end of the story. But it was only the beginning. Because the moment my plane touched down in Honolulu, my phone lit up with more missed calls and messages than I'd ever seen in my life. My family wasn't just panicking. They were spiraling. But I didn't open a single message. Not yet. I stepped out of the airport into warm island air that felt nothing like home. The humidity wrapped around me. The scent of ocean salt drifted across the parking lot. For the first time in 28 years, I wasn't rushing for anyone. I wasn't solving anyone's crisis. I wasn't shrinking to keep the peace. I was simply me. My compact rental car waited in the pickup lane. A small thing, simple, unassuming. The opposite of the SUV Dad insisted we needed. When I slid into the driver's seat, something inside me shifted again. A quiet click, like the locking of a door behind me. I drove through Honolulu with the windows down, letting the wind tangle my hair as I watched the skyline rise against the ocean. And with every passing mile, the weight I'd carried for decades loosened, thread by thread. But freedom has a strange way of showing you what you've been running from. By the time I reached the hotel, my phone buzzed again. 15 times in a row. Mom. Dad. Jessica. Jessica again. And Dad. I ignored it all. The hotel lobby was a slow swirl of warm lights, Hawaiian music, and vacationers smelling faintly of sunscreen. The staff greeted me with that effortless island kindness I'd only ever seen in movies. Welcome, Ms. Morrison, the receptionist said, handing me my key card. One guest for 7 nights. Ocean view. You're all set. One guest. Those 2 words hit me deeper than I expected. I walked to my room, opened the balcony doors, and stepped into the golden glow of a sunset that looked almost unreal. The ocean stretched endlessly in front of me, blue melting into orange, waves crashing softly against the shore. I rested my hands on the balcony railing and exhaled for what felt like the first time in years. And then the buzzing started again. My phone, still vibrating, still begging for attention from people who had never listened to me. I finally glanced at the screen. 39 missed calls, 17 voicemails, 46 messages, all within the first hour. But one notification stopped me cold. A text from Jessica. I'm telling them everything if you don't come back. My breath caught. Everything? My mind raced through decades of secrets I had protected for her. The loans, the mistakes, the disasters she swore she'd fix but never did. But she wasn't talking about any of that. She was talking about something else. Something I never expected her to weaponize. Something she promised she'd never reveal. My chest tightened, a slow, painful pressure, as the truth hit me. Jessica had found the one thing she knew could drag me back home. The one thing I never wanted my parents to know. And in the soft glow of the Hawaiian sunset, with waves crashing beneath me, I finally understood. This trip wasn't just my escape. It was the moment everything in our family's carefully protected illusion was about to break wide open, and the secret Jessica threatened to reveal was bigger than the slap, bigger than Hawaii, bigger than anything she'd ever held over me. But the part she didn't know? I wasn't the same Rose she slapped in the airport. Not anymore. Part 3 is where the truth behind Jessica's threat comes out. Night settled over Honolulu like a slow-moving shadow. The ocean outside my balcony was a black mirror, waves crashing with a rhythm that felt almost ominous. I stood there staring at Jessica's message. My hands had gone cold. I'm telling them everything if you don't come back. For a moment, the world around me blurred. The lights of the hotel, the music rising from the lobby, the soft knock of waves meeting the shore. Everything faded, except the one secret Jessica wasn't supposed to touch. The secret that didn't belong to her. The secret that could burn our whole family from the inside out. I locked the screen, placed the phone face down on the table, and tried to breathe. But memories have a way of finding cracks in your armor, and mine broke wide open. I remembered the night 3 years ago. The screaming, the broken glass, the way Jessica clung to me in the dark, shaking, begging me not to tell Mom and Dad what really happened. I remembered the blood, and I remembered the promise I made to her. Your secret stays with me, no matter what. But that promise meant nothing to her now, because for Jessica, loyalty had always been a one-way street. Inside the hotel room, the air felt tight. Swallowing, suffocating, I sank onto the edge of the bed, my heart pounding against my ribs like it was trying to escape. If she revealed the truth, everything I'd held together for years would explode. Dad would lose it. Mom would break, and Jessica would finally drag me down into the chaos she had created. But that was the old me, the one who stayed quiet, the one who sacrificed everything for everyone else. Here, with the Pacific stretching endless and unforgiving beyond my window, I felt something shift, a resolve, cold, sharp, unbreakable. I picked up my phone again, not to reply, not to panic, but to shut it off completely. The screen went black. Silence filled the room, not the silence of fear, but the silence of freedom. I stepped back onto the balcony and let the ocean wind wrap around me. Far below, tourists laughed. Music drifted upward. Life carried on without needing my apology or my explanation. For the first time, I realized I didn't owe Jessica anything. Not my silence, not my suffering, not my life. The sunset had vanished. Night had taken over, and with it came a strange, powerful peace. I whispered into the wind. Not for her, not for them, but for myself. I'm done being afraid. And that was it. No reply, no breakdown, no running back home. Just a clean break from the person I used to be. Thanks for watching my video.